There are 3 ways that we could slice a brain, but why do you even need to know this information? Why did you click on this video? For neuroscience, obviously. If we want to begin to understand how our brain works, we have to look at the structures. How are the cells, the smaller functional blocks of the brain, aligned? How are they put together? How do they interact with each other? How do they communicate? And in terms of doing this and finding out where these structures are, we can use brain slicing in order to create these different planes. And these planes help us create a better, more accurate mapping of different points in the brain. So now we have an x-axis, a y-axis, and a z-axis. So with that information, we can look at the structures and we can see what parts are affected. And that's why slicing the brain in these different ways is so important, because each type of slice gives us a different bit of information as to where something could be located. That is our point of interest. And in particular, there are 3 types of brain slices that if you're trying to get into neuro, trying to understand more about neuro, you should know, because you'll see these pretty often. And the first one is called a coronal. The second one is called sagittal. And you'll never guess what the third one is. It's horizontal. It's horizontal. And the other one couldn't have been vertical? Like, what? Okay, but anyway. So with each one, what you have to understand is that it helps us identify how close to the front of the brain something may be, how close to the back it may be. Is it closer to the right, my right, or is it closer to my left? And if something is located higher up, so towards the top of the head, top of the brain, or is it located closer to the bottom? And so there's more anatomical directional terms that we could use for those, but for right now, that's your basic idea of these 3 types of slices. Like, what do you need to know about that? Instead of using the imagery of a human, let's use the imagery of a circular cake. Now, if you were to put a crown on that circular cake and you were to incrementally move it backwards as you went through the cake, so the front, then you move it back a little bit, drop it down, then you pick it up, move it back a little bit, drop it down, and so on and so forth, you'd have coronal slices because they're slicing downwards from front to back. And so it's like the coronation. Imagine a crown, you're putting a crown down on the brain to slice it. It's quite the image. I didn't realize how, gory that might be until I said it out loud like this, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And so the next type of slice we have is the sagittal slice, and the sagittal slice is pretty interesting because what you could do to imagine this one is pretty straightforward. Just think back to Greek mythology. You got Sagittarius. I know people who may be into astrology may know more about this, or like interested in this, like, oh, I'm a Pisces. I don't know what all of that means, but for Sagittarius, what I do know is that you have this imagery of a centaur with a bow and arrow and aiming it off somewhere. So if you were to imagine centaur is aiming straight at that brain, it's going to split the brain in half like this. So that's the direction of a sagittal slice. So that's like a little helpful bit of imagery that helped me understand what exactly a sagittal slice was. Just imagine a centaur just aiming an arrow dead center through the brain, and then that slices it in that direction. And the third and final slice that I want to bring up is the horizontal slice. And this is pretty straightforward. Imagine you're looking out into the horizon. It's a beautiful view, beautiful day, and I'm inside recording this video. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. The main point here is that the horizontal slice goes across the horizon. And so because it goes across the horizon, what you end up having is slices that go like this. So those are the 3 types of brain slices. Next time you see a picture in a textbook or online about some sort of X-ray imaging scan, you know exactly what kind of slice of brain that you're looking at. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.